Our next speaker, Lena Acosta Sandal, is also very passionate about our children, and I think it would be very wise for us to get to know her. Lena Sandal began her career at the Children and Families Organization in Vista del Mar in Los Angeles. She developed her expertise in children and adolescent development as well as childhood mental health. Today, she is the parenting expert for Spanish American top channel Telemundo on the show Un Nuevo Día. She has trained and participated in research studies for Yale's Minding the Baby, the National Traumatic Stress Network, and Child Trauma Research Program of San Francisco. Her focus now, and as it always has been, is to stop parenting alone and to change the world one family at a time. She knows in her heart that she has the keys, and she knows that she can direct these families into making the correct decisions. And she knows that parents with the right information can guide their children to making the right choices. So ladies, without further ado, it is my pleasure to present your next speaker, Lena Acosta Sandal.
Hi, everybody. So, we're going to talk about emotions. But first, let's start with the truth. So, that's me at 3, 16, and now. Now, what I know is that the little one inside of me is desperately hoping that you all will like me. She's scared, she's excited, and she really wants to go in there, so I'm going to do that. Okay. The teenager in me doesn't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. That's not true. I do care. I'm just a teenager, and I cover it up with anger. The tattoos, I got them at 30, but the teenager wanted them at 16. And me today. Today, I'm absolutely overwhelmed that I'm on this stage. Today, I'm scare-sighted. That means I'm scared and excited at the same time. Me and my little ones always make that word up, and it's fabulous because most people don't understand that you can have two feelings at the same time, and they're usually dark and light. Remember that. Scare-sighted. So, we've been talking about these things throughout this weekend. And I am the one that's going to talk about the feeling square. But Vernice talked about action. How did she talk about action? And sometimes when you take action, your feelings change and your thoughts change, right? Mina, she talked about thoughts. She told you all to change your thinking, and you will be able to take an action that will make you feel amazing, right? Luli, my beautiful friend, talked to you about thoughts and actions, and she threw in a little feeling stuff too. Hello, Miss Luli B. Thank you. So why are we all talking about these things? Because these things all work together. Every single day, millisecond by millisecond. When you have a thought, you may act and you may feel. The one thing that all of you are wondering about is how are you going to make all these things that all these amazing speakers have been talking about real and valuable to you on Monday morning? I'm here to tell you why it's so difficult to take action and to change your thoughts. These guys. Who saw the movie? I boohoo cried like a crazy person at that movie because finally Disney had given me toys to use with my clients. Woohoo! I was so excited. So feelings are the things that are getting in the way of you taking action, of you changing your thoughts. And it's because you think that feelings are direction. They're not. Feelings give us information. When you feel sad, you don't have to run to the mall. When you feel angry, you don't have to scream at the person in front of you in the car. When you're feeling frustrated, you don't have to write that awful email. Feelings are not direction. Feelings are information. I'm going to share a little something with you guys. All of you avoid certain feelings. I know you do. So I'm going to give you a moment right now to stop, breathe, and tell the truth about what are the feelings that you avoid. I gave you a little list, but think about, write them down right now because we're going to use them later. I'm going to give you a minute, and I want you to write down the feelings that you try desperately to avoid. You're trying to avoid a 90-second synapse in the right hemisphere of your brain. Emotions and feelings are 90 seconds, a minute and a half synapse in the right hemisphere of your brain. That's it. And it's also information. But all of you are going, wait, no, that's not right. You're crazy, lady. What are you talking about? I have feelings that, from a year ago, from 3 months ago, from 5 years ago, from 8th grade, from 4th grade. I had a feeling from 4th grade. David Russell strangled me in the playroom. 4th grade, David Russell. See? First and last name. I remember him. It could bring me right back. And that day, when he was strangling me, I felt fear, as I should. And I felt anger, and I pushed him off. But see, that was such a powerful moment in my life that later on, every time somebody got near my neck, I felt angry and afraid. That's horrible for my sex life. I'm funny too, yeah, that's true. Okay, so, and every time somebody got near my neck, I felt that. It was like, boom, fast, quick. Why? 90-second synapse. Really, really fast. So I had to work out this idea about David Russell. Not everybody that's coming from my neck is going to strangle me, especially my lovers. Why you think that it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years is because of the left mode of the brain. The left mode of the brain gives you linear, language, memory. No, sorry, not memory, time. Right mode gives you memory. Please, everybody, stop saying right brain and left brain. There's no such thing. They work together, always. The neurologist will thank you. Right mode, left mode. Okay, so the left mode gives us time. So every time you guys have a feeling, you have a lot of memories attached to that feeling from 1982, from 1994, from 2015. And they get associated to what's happening in 2017. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. So, why do your emotions stop you? Okay. It's your mother's fault. You laugh, but it is. The first relationship we have is with our caregivers, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, the ones that spend the most time with us. And there are feelings that you guys do not feel because you're afraid to lose your relationship. And you're afraid to lose your relationship because a well-meaning parent said, no, stop crying, no crying. Why are you angry? Stop being angry. So you learn that when you're angry, you lose your connection with your parent. And when you're sad, you lose your connection with your parent. Why would you feel sadness and anger if the most important person in your life is telling you, when you feel that, I'm not okay with you. You're no longer lovable. To prove my point, I'm going to show you this video. John?
Babies this young are extremely responsive to the emotions and the reactivity and the social interaction that they get from the world around them. This is something that we started studying 30, 40 years ago, when people didn't think that infants could engage in social interaction. In the still face experiment, what the mother did was she sits down and she's playing with her baby, who's about a year of age.
I'm like a girl. Oh.
And she gives a greeting to the baby gives a greeting back to her.
Yeah.
This baby starts pointing at different places in the world, and the mother's trying to engage her and play with her. They're working to coordinate their emotions and their intentions, what they want to do in the world. And that's really what the baby is used to. And then we ask the mother to not respond to the baby. The baby very quickly picks up on this. And then she uses all of her abilities to try and get the mother back. She smiles at the mother. She points because she's used to the mother looking where she points. The baby puts both hands up in front of her and says, "What's happening here?" She makes that screechy sound at the mother, like, "Come on, why aren't we doing this?" Even in this 2 minutes, when they don't get the normal reaction, they react with negative emotions, they turn away, they feel the stress of it. They actually may lose control of their posture because of the stress that they're experiencing.
Okay. I'm here. And what are you doing? Oh, yes. Oh, what a big girl.
It's a little like the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that normal stuff that goes on, that we all do with our kids. The bad is when something bad happens, but the infant can overcome it. After all, when you stop the still face, the mother and the baby start to play again. The ugly is when you don't give the child any chance to get back to the good. There's no reparation, and they're stuck in that really ugly situation.
So let's take a minute, because that's excruciatingly painful to watch. Put your hand in your heart and your other hand in your tummy, and take a deep breath. We're safe. Baby safe. So, a little baby like that lives in all of you. You're trying to connect by pointing. You're trying to connect by putting both your hands up. And you're trying to connect by screaming, "Ah!" Some of you learned not to connect, so you turn away. We need relationship. This is why for some of you, your feelings stop you. 25% of our neurons are social in nature. 25%. So those of you that have decided, I'm never going to have a relationship, you're not using 25% of your brain. For those of you that are continually this little baby going, ah, 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 you're really using 25% of your brain, but you're misusing it. Especially when it's somebody that's not finishing a circle of connection with you. But I want you all to know that that little baby lives inside of all of you, because we need to connect We need to be with one another. We need to have a hive. Our neurology is made that way. Relationship is important, and relationship keeps your feelings safe sometimes. Right? So this is complicated, right? Because your parents taught you to be in relationship in the world. Your teachers taught you to be in relationship in the world. There's 80% of adults can share the one time that one teacher told them something that they could not do, and they believed them. Miss Trujillo told me I was very bad at math. I figured out that I was good at math when I got an A in statistics in college. And the guy said, wow, you're really smart. I was like, I am, and I'm cute too. So, it is your mother's fault. It is your father's fault. It is your teacher's fault that for some of you, because of your fear of relationship, there are certain feelings that you have turned off. Temperament. Everybody talks about this in the regular world with introverts and extroverts, right? So those of us in development, we talk about the high reactives and the low reactives. Let me explain the high reactive. High reactive people, the world accosts them. Sounds, too many people, being in big groups. There's a bunch of you here today that you're like, holy God, don't talk to me. I need to talk to you one-on-one. Please, too much rah, rah, rah. You love Marley, but you want her to stay away from you. Right? People have called you shy your whole life. If it were up to me, shy would be completely removed from the dictionary. It should not exist. That's a crock of, right? You, my friend, you high reactives, you are quiet and you're vigilant, but you're so observant. And I love you for that. And I wish I had that ability, because you walk into a room and you look into the space and you notice every single detail of the room. And the United States and our culture tells you that you're weak, but you're not. You just need somebody like me to go to the networking parties. Right? I'm low reactive. Nothing really bothers me. I'm kind of pretty flexible. I'm the life of the party. I come in and I miss everything because I'm too busy calling attention to myself. Right? But high reactives, why feelings get in the way of you is because a lot of high reactive people lean on anxious. Right? And you get rigid. You have to have a plan. You have to control. You have to make sure that you do it right. Now, low reactives, because we want everything to be easy peasy and kind of cool and just like laid back and I'm good, when you have a hard feeling to feel, because I never call feelings bad. There are not bad feelings and good feelings. There are hard feelings to feel and easy feelings to feel. And if you have children, stop calling them bad and good today. Write that down. Hard feelings to feel, easy feelings to feel. Ask your kiddos to tell you what are hard feelings to feel and what are easy feelings to feel, and you'll be surprised by what they tell you. So, low reactives, you guys don't like to feel, I mean either. We don't like to feel sad. We don't like to feel frustrated because it gets in the way of our flow. It gets in the way of our energy, and we try desperately not to feel. And a lot of low reactive people feel at 10. We don't feel at 6. We don't feel at 4. And we don't feel at 3. And I just heard Michelle say, she's your girl if you want to get your power. You low reactives, people have been asking you to quiet down for a very long time. Stop listening to them. Just like you high reactives, people have been telling you that you're introverted and you can't talk to anybody. Yes, you can. You talk one-on-one perfectly. Keep it up. But when it gets to the shadow, high reactives, you get anxious. And low reactives get depressed. Gender. Reason number 3 why you try not to feel. So, girls, when they're 12, this is when we officially are asked to join the woman card. Here you go. This is what you have to do to be a woman. You can't feel anger, aggressive, enraged, infuriated, powerful, liberated, or lust. If you want your woman card when you're 12 years old, because that's when we break girls, whew, that hit me hard. That's when we break girls. That's when we make them choose relationship over their power. We tell them, be nice. No, your friend wouldn't like that. Look at that list. Take those feelings back. Boys, at 5, we break our boys. Kindergarten. In kindergarten, we ask our boys not to be sad, afraid, submissive, vulnerable, hurt, intimate, loving. You're whooped if you fall in love. We break our boys at 5 in kindergarten. Be kind to your lover, ladies. You say you want him to be emotional, but when he shows you those feelings, be honest, makes your butt cringe. You don't like it. When your husband gets sad, you get afraid. When your lover is submissive, you're like, whoa. Unless you're one of those girls, and I like you. When he's hurt, when have you stepped on your lover's toes when he's hurt? Be honest, ladies. My AV guys back there, take back those feelings. Notice them. These are human feelings, 90-second synapses in the right mode of your brain. Human, blinking, peeing. I wasn't going to say this, but you know what? I think I should. Some of you are not going to like me. This is what I tell teenagers. Feelings are like poop. You got to keep it regular. Because if you hold them in, you get constipated, and when it comes out, it's hard. And painful. And if you hold it in long enough, when you let it out, it's explosive. Feelings need to be regularly felt. And ladies, those are emotions that are human. My AV crew, John, Andy, take these back. Okay, implicit memories. That's me. When I was 3, I climbed to the top of a closet, and I decided to jump out of it. Bernice is not here. I was trying to fly. And I fractured my skull. It was near death. I was in the hospital for 6 weeks. And my mother was 23 years old. So, what are implicit memories? Your brain holds memories in the hippocampus. You don't have to remember that. That's kind of stupid. But you do have to remember that there are certain memories of your past that were traumatic. There's big T trauma and there's little t trauma. Medical trauma, like mine, is middle of the road trauma. But every time you have an incredibly difficult emotional experience, your brain, which is efficient, not smart, our brain is made to keep us alive. And it keeps you alive in an efficient way, which makes it really stupid. Because your brain puts this memory, makes you unconscious of the memory, but then takes all the information of that event and puts it in the implicit area. Those of you that watched Inside Out, remember the cops and the clown? That was implicit memory. Because you need the information of how you got hurt, right? So for me, I don't have a lot of memories about this time in my life, but I've heard 185 stories that my mother has told. And one of them was that one of the nurses had to come every night and rub my legs and my arms to make sure that I didn't get blood clots, because if it went up here. So I would have panic attacks when I got massages. I thought I had been sexually abused because usually when you have a massage and it panics you, you have suffered some kind of sexual abuse. So for a very long time, I was like, who abused me? Couldn't figure it out. But then I started doing the work with implicit memories with a somatic therapist who taught me to get into my body. And then I started understanding what that was about. The other thing was that I'm very sensitive in the tips of my fingers. Why? Because when I was little, they would take blood from each one of my little fingers because they couldn't take blood from here. My mom says that I used to call the nurse Dracula. I was funny then too. So, a lot of you have had things that have happened to you. Maybe you lost somebody. Maybe you had medical trauma. Maybe you were spanked or whooped or chancleta. That's a small T trauma. Every time you get hit by the person that's supposed to keep you safe, they traumatize you. Remember the baby? If you're spanking your children, please stop. So implicit memory, how do you get to it? It's not impossible to get to it. There's EMDR, there's somatic therapy. When the next time you feel something really powerful in your body, trust it. Trust it, especially if you have suffered trauma. So, what reason are we at now? 4. Why emotions get in the way? Look at all the stuff that's happening for you. Your window of tolerance. I'm not going to talk much about this because it's pretty simple. All of you in here are like, I have a car, I have a house, I have a blah, 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 stress. By the way, stress is just fear dressed up for the ball. The next time you say, I'm too stressed out, say, I'm afraid. I'm so stressed out about this campaign that I'm working on. I'm afraid about the campaign that I'm working on. Your window of tolerance will go, whoop. Call it what it is, ladies. Stop avoiding the feeling. Keep yourself regular. So your window of tolerance gets wide or short, and it depends on your stress. And when the brain is stressed, it goes to the oldest tool, right? So those of you that find yourself eating Entenmann's in the middle of the night, that's an old tool. You know why? Because when you cried, your mommy used to give you a bottle, and you felt safe and secure and warm. Blame your mom again. Now you know why I do parenting work. I don't want you to get blamed. So, the window of tolerance, when it's very, very small, we either get chaotic, where you just don't know what to do and you're frenzied, or you get rigid, where you have to know every single thing that has to happen and you tell everybody exactly what to do. And this is because your brain is either reactive or receptive. We want our brain to be receptive, not reactive. Andy, it's your turn. Everybody, put your feet on the ground. No! 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 Yes. 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 The no is when your brain is reactive. When your brain is reactive, please don't make decisions. When you feel the way that I just made you feel, don't make any decisions. Stop and allow yourself to get back to yes. I want you to remember how it felt. It felt horrible, didn't it? Those of you that are parents, that scream doesn't work. It puts your child in a reactive brain, and they can't hear the next thing that you say. Now, don't get me wrong, I scream at my kids. I do. Because I'm a human being. But the key is to go back and say, you know what, buddy? I made a big mistake. I was really, really angry and frustrated. I did not take a deep breath, and I used a really loud word and really loud noise, and I scared you, and I'm sorry about that, and I'm going to work on it. Please don't promise them that you're never going to do it again, because you're a filthy liar. But do repair. So remember how you felt when you're judging yourself? How many of you, when you have reactive brain, like I put you in, the no brain, you judge yourself? That's when you tell yourself all that stuff that you tell yourself, right? Think about when you're making decisions. I told you, I don't make decisions. I don't make decisions when I'm PMSing, and I don't make decisions when I have a reactive brain. When you're disciplining your children. Breathe. Ready? Some of you are trying not to breathe when I breathe. Breathing is contagious. Stop telling your children to breathe. You breathe. If you breathe, they will breathe. When you tell them to breathe, you're usually going, breathe, breathe, it's okay, breathe. That's what you're usually doing. Reactive brain. Don't say one word and just go, okay? Moms, dads, when you're speaking to your lover. I like to call them lovers because they are our lovers. Make sure that you're not in a no brain. Make sure that you're not in a reactive brain. And with your lover, just like your children, when you mess up, ask for forgiveness. Social contagion. We've been talking about this throughout the thing. Nowadays, we call it FOMO, fear of missing out. That's another reason why emotions get in the way for you, right? And why we have social contagion, blame your brain, again, because a long, long time ago when we were running from woolly mammoths and we lived in tribes, we had to be like each other. And if we weren't like each other, we might die. Literally. And remember what I told you, the brain keeps you alive. So you are only as good, and I didn't say this, Tony Robbins did, as the people that are around you, and he has a better way of saying it than me because he's a badass. Sorry, I'm a potty mouth. So know that you do have social contagion. The people around you, like if somebody gets a divorce and you've been thinking about a divorce, you might get divorced. If somebody thinks, that the world is horrible and nothing will change and we are in for the catastrophe of life and all the people around you are feeling that, you will eventually feel that. Be mindful of who you surround yourself with. Now, sometimes those people are our family. Right? And I don't want you not to be with your family because they're important. But I do want you to know when your expiration date is. A lot of you go visit your family and you get into the social contagion because remember, they originally wired you like the baby, right? But for me, for a very long time, my expiration date was 4 days. 4 days. You know why I was in Los Angeles? Because of my family. Because my family's in Miami. I had to be away. I couldn't be with them. I couldn't do the social contagion until I got healthy. When I got healthy, then I could be with them, and now I know I see my mom for about 6 hours. That's all I can do. Then I'm done. Because I live here. And I still have the 4-day expiration. I will never go with my mom on a 7-day cruise. I love her, but she's, Anyway. So, I've given you all the reasons why emotions are very, 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 very hard, right? Your mom, your gender, social contagion, right? All the reasons why you trying not to feel, the 90-second synapse. So, what can you do to have your emotions help you? Build your emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to feel, tolerate, and recuperate from an emotion. All of you feel and all of you recuperate, but you're not tolerating, right? You feel and you want to go to the mall. You feel and you want to. You feel and some of you are like, right? Stop it. Tolerating is the most important part because that's where your feelings stop being direction and they're information. Right? Now, if you have emotional intelligence, you'll have self-awareness, you'll be self-regulated. Self-regulated is not exploding, in a nutshell. Being able to feel something and not allowing it to ruin your entire day. You will be motivated. How many of you, when you don't know what in the world you're feeling, you can't get anything done? Right. So if you know what you're feeling and you work on it and you tolerate it, you will become motivated. It will make you empathic. If I have no idea what I am feeling, how can I possibly wonder what you are feeling? right? And it helps you to maintain relationships. Because we break boys at 5 years old, a lot of the men in your life, for those of you that are heterosexual, they don't feel. Especially the yummy feelings that you need to be in a relationship, like vulnerability and love and sad. Without vulnerability, you have no relationship. Remember that scene in Top Gun when they meet each other, Tom Cruise and the lady, I forgot her name, Kelly something. I'm 45. Those of you that have not seen Top Gun, I'm very sorry. They meet each other and they say, well, how did it go? It was like, I crashed and burned. I love that line because to be in intimate relationship, you have to be willing to crash and burn. If you're not willing to crash and burn with your lover, don't bother. If you're not willing to be hurt, don't bother. I cannot be in relationship with you if you're not vulnerable. I will always feel this. Be mindful if you're doing this. This is how you're not in relationship. Gotta do this. Okay. So many of you have spoken about pause. Tolerate is in the pause, right? Remember, your feelings are information, not direction. Please pause. I gave you this visual because I'm messing with your brain. Look at it. Next time you feel the hard feeling to feel, visualize this. Or make your own. Color it. Draw. It works. She made us draw yesterday, right? I drew the cutest picture. I want to show it to you. So it's important because you have to take a moment to say, I am scared. I am sad. And in the pause, this is what you do. You breathe. You notice your body sensations. You breathe again. And you wait until you can label your emotion. Now, everybody, look at the feelings that you wrote down that you wanted to avoid. Look at it again. Now, I want you to do these questions and get used to it. Do it for the next 21 days, every time you have a big emotion. But for today, I want you to look at that list that you wrote in the beginning, and I want you to pick one emotion, one of those feelings. And I want you to answer these questions. Now, the first one, you've already chosen. You're going to choose that one feeling that you're trying not to feel. Now, everybody, take the next minute and answer the other two questions. The first answer is the right answer. Don't think too much about it. I should have given you some information. Our emotions are linked to experiences. The more you clear out the experiences from the past, you will be able to help yourself not let your feelings stop you. These questions are simple. I know you took a picture, but remember them. I'm asking you today to be willing to feel the feelings that you said you're not willing to feel. That's how emotions won't stop you. All of you are trying not to feel all of the time. You're getting constipated and getting a little bit of diarrhea. It's human and a 90-second synapse. Speak about the dragon. Speak about the emotions. The more you speak about it, the less power it will have. You know this is true. You have that one person that you go to that you're like, right? And then when you're done with them, you're like, yeah. Okay, mommies in the room. I want you to raise your hand if your child acts perfect with everybody else but you. Raise your hand. They're perfect everywhere else in the world. And the teacher looks at you and goes, oh no, Carlitos never does that with me. That's if you're in Miami. That's what they sound like. Okay, this is why. Carlitos feels safe with you. Carlitos can speak about the dragon with you. Carlitos has learned the rules of the classroom, has learned the rules of society. And when he sees you, when he's held it all together all day long, he's like, or he's like, woo! You are their safe person. They speak about the dragon with you. No lo regañes. It's a good thing that they're being vulnerable with you. It tells me, the child development expert, that they have a safe and beautiful, secure relationship with you, and they should be losing their mind with you. If they're under 5, it will pass, I promise. If they're between 5 and 7, it mellows out a little bit, but they give you this. Mom, that's stupid. Ooh, that's a bad word, right? And between 8 and 11, they may or may not be sharing with you anymore. And if they're not, fix it. Speak to them at night. Tell them your vulnerabilities, the ones you can share. But speak about the dragon. It's very, 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 very important. And it's because without it, we lose connection. So nobody says it better than Brené Brown. If you don't know who she is, YouTube, Brené Brown, there's 2 talks, watch them. I can't do it better than her. So let's listen to her speak about vulnerability. John?
We think about vulnerability as a dark emotion. You know, there are a lot of people who talk about positive emotions, negative emotions, dark emotions, light emotions. We think of vulnerability as a dark emotion. We think of it as the core of fear and shame and grief and disappointment, uncertainty, things that we do not want to feel, right? Things that I don't want to be vulnerable because that means I'm afraid. That means I'm uncertain. That means I'm at risk, I'm exposed, I'm in grief. So what we do is we armor up and we say, I do not want to slip into these dark emotions. I will not let myself be vulnerable. But here's what I learned from the research and certainly put into motion in my own life that was the most life-changing, is that vulnerability is the center of difficult emotion. But it's also the birthplace of every positive emotion that we need in our lives. Love, belonging, joy, empathy. How many of you would agree that we're in a serious empathy deficit in our culture today? Totally, right? No vulnerability, no empathy. In a culture where people are afraid to be vulnerable, you can't have empathy. You know, empathy is not a default response. If you share something with me that's difficult, in order for me to be truly empathic, I have to step into what you're feeling. And that's vulnerable. So there can be no empathy without vulnerability. Why do you think, in that example that I used a while ago, daughter comes home and says, tears, no one sat with me at lunch today. They made fun of what I was wearing. So-and-so won't talk to me. They poured my books out of my locker. And the response back is, I told you, I bought you all those cute jeans. Why aren't you wearing those jeans? And pull your hair back. Is that an empathic response? No, it's a shaming response. Could that shaming response be could a mother who absolutely adores her child respond with that shaming response? Please say yes. Don't kid yourself. I mean, come on. If you're a parent sitting in here, then you sure as hell know the answer to that is yes. But why? Why did that happen? Where was the access to vulnerability? Where was empathy? You can't access empathy if you're not willing to be vulnerable. So if my daughter comes home and tells that to me, guess what I have to do? I have to reactivate that sweaty palmed 7th grader who lives inside me. And I have to go, oh God, that's so hard. I'm so sorry. That's happened to me. That's happened to me when I was in middle school, and it's happened to me last week. Let's talk about it. But you can't get there without vulnerability. You can't fake empathy. Innovation and creativity, born of vulnerability. This is my favorite part. I talked about this, I did another TED Talk this year in Long Beach, and I told the story that during 2011 and even this year, after the big TEDx Houston talk went viral, the big calls came from Fortune 500 companies. Oh my God, we loved your TED Talk. It was great. Please come talk to all of our senior leaders. And it's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? Like, we don't care. Just come and talk to us. Just if you could ixnay the shame and vulnerability talk. Every single conversation, barring maybe 10%. I was like, well, what do you mean? Well, we love, you're funny. You have this great research. I think there's a real fit with what we do. We don't really do, that kind of stuff around here. So if you could not mention vulnerability and shame. So just for fun, for grins, I would say, okay, so what would you like me to talk about? Yeah, fourth quarter earnings, like freaking don't even balance my checkbook. I'm not going to talk about that. So what do you want me to talk about? Well, the big issue, creativity and innovation. And change. We're going through a lot of change. Okay, so vulnerability is the birthplace of creativity, innovation, change. And the reason that crisis is happening is because you're not talking about vulnerability. Imagine creativity and innovation without vulnerability. I'm asking you for a work product that has never been made before, that's completely innovative. I need you to be creative, and I need you to present it to a group of people who are half of them are gonna think it's stupid and not understand it. No vulnerability there.
You want love? You want to be creative? You want to be innovative? Speak. Feel. Stop saying this. How many times have I heard in this weekend, stop crying, no, don't cry because I'm going to cry. That's a version of this. I cringed every time in my seat. I wanted to jump up and go, cry, because it's beautiful. Because when I started and I told you about me and I told you that I was scarce-sighted, how did you feel about me? Did you judge me? If you did, you're a creep. And if you did judge me, it's because it made you uncomfortable. Because when somebody shares a vulnerable feeling and your butt cringes, it's because you don't know how to do it and it scares you. But all of you felt safer with me because I told you that I was scarce-sighted. Because I told you about my teenager and what a liar she was. Because I told you about my tattoos. You know why I told you about my tattoos? Because I worry about them, because I know I get judged for them. So I told you about them because I needed to get them out of my system. Stop saying I shouldn't feel this way. Feeling sad or disappointed when somebody hurts you is human. Telling yourself, oh my God, I can't believe it. I don't want them to make me feel this way. That's how you're hurting yourself. I shouldn't feel this way is a judgment of a 90-second synapse in the right mode of your brain. You're judging being human. Knock it off. Ready? Luli had the same thing. Great minds think alike. But actually, this will free you. So, I want you guys to take a moment, right? And to answer these questions. Notice the second question. Who does this remind me of? Your judgment belongs to somebody else, usually. And a lot of the time, unfortunately, it's mom or dad. So, the first answer is the right answer. And every time you find yourself in the judging wheel and in the shoulds, stop shoulding yourself and start answering these questions. Ready? Go. Like Luli and Mina and Vernice, let all of us know. Perfect is a really bad goal. They all said it in different ways. You are enough. You are enough. Hold on, I need a little help. I want to see the slides, but not for them. I'm keeping a secret from all of you. Because I want to fast forward a little bit. So, it's important for all of you to know that every time you judge yourself, you stop yourself. And you're giving somebody else power for your feelings. And sometimes you don't know who that who is. But you know what it feels like in your body? Judgment is the worst thing. Okay, hold on, guys. I'm gonna get over here. Okay, slides back on. Thank you. And Luli, damn Luli, she said comparisonitis. And I had the slide. Don't forget this. Judgment and expectation gets you here. That's how you get comparisonitis. And I'm stealing it. I'm sorry. I'll give you credit when you're not there. Comparisonitis happens because you're judging yourself and you have high expectations. Let me explain about expectations. Now, I know some of you in the audience are going to get a little bit upset with me because you have, the power of positive thinking. Now, the power of positive thinking works for those of you who do not have these nasty little creatures that I have spoken about today. Statistically, we know those of you that have not cleared out your emotional world, when you do positive affirmations, your brain rejects it because it doesn't believe it. So take actions rather than give yourself thoughts. Affirmations are thoughts. Action is an experience. Right? If you do an affirmation and you haven't done the work of clearing your emotional state, of understanding how your relationship with your parents, how your relationship with your coaches influence you today, those affirmations will not work. It will make it worse. Action. Remember I told you it's a loop, right? So sign up, pay the $1,000, go to the thing with the coach. That's an action. You will have an experience. You will feel better. The affirmation won't work until you experience something different and you give your brain a different experience, right? A lot of you felt fear this weekend, but you came up here and you spoke on the mic. That was added to your fear belt in your brain. Now you know that you can walk to the mic. And you're high reactive if you could say, okay, I don't speak very well, so I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to tell you what I need. Every time you take the action, the brain goes, oh, okay, when we feel fear, sometimes we can move. Okay, so this is a quantum physics chart. I start reading quantum physics and my brain goes, poof. And I don't read it too much, but we are finding some crazy stuff. Like one thing, I'm going to butcher it completely. If there's a quantum physicist in the audience, I'm sorry. But basically, these two electrons, separate places, this one moves this way, and this one's in another place, and they move at the same time. Like this. Those of you that have really intimate relationships and you know that something's wrong with your friend, that's this. Quantum physicists are proving intuition. Quantum physicists are proving psychics. They see realms that the rest of us don't see. There is no time, people. That's crazy. So let me explain this little chart. I was super lucky to spend a weekend with Dan Siegel. If you're a parent, no drama discipline. No drama discipline. Dan Siegel, buy the book today. Go on Amazon. Go. I don't mind if you're getting a book while I'm talking. Okay? He drew this for us in our little weekend. I got to spend it with him and 17 other of my friends from the world. And he explained that expectations are basically, it gives your brain a comparison list. If you came here and you had this expectation that you were going to be amazing and you were going to have the best time at the Women's Symposium, your brain is like, okay, I'm going to look for that. But if your brain doesn't find it, then you feel disappointed. Now, it's okay to seek excellence. Thank you. Makes it so much easier.